In this video, I will explain how to set up and select the indicator on your TradingView chart. So when you subscribe to the AltSignal services, your TradingView name will be added to the indicator, and that means it will show up in your indicators up here, invite only scripts, and then there will be two here. I will show them in favorites. So the name is AltTrader Backtester Swing and Scalp and AltTrader Scalp and Swing. So this is a backtester to test strategies, and this is in an indicator. They both work the same, but in the backtester you cannot create alerts. You have to create the alerts on this one. Also, depending on the package that you bought, for example monthly, in the monthly you will only have this one, Scalp and Swing, but if you bought lifetime you will also have the backtester available. So let's add them to the chart. So let's go over the indicator first, not the backtester but the other one, this one. So you click the settings icon and then you can see all the functions here. There is multiple moving averages available to set up on the chart in this list. So you can see it's quite a lot. To enable it, you just check this box. So when this is checked, the multi-MA, so whatever you select here, the moving averages, are used to create a filter, which means if the chart is above this moving average with this length, it will only buy, and when it's below the moving average with this length, it will only sell. So this is to create a moving average filter where you say that when there's an uptrend and then it goes down a bit, but it's still above the moving average, you don't want to do a sell because it might be a fake out or fake signal. So this is good to filter out the bad signals. So SMA is the simple moving average, is the most simple one, and then you can choose all of those here. A few of them in this list have additional parameters like the VAMA. If you select that one, which is here, then you can also change some parameters here to test with. Same for the modular filter and for the LSMA and the T3. All the others only have the length, which is here. Okay, once you chose that, you have the filters, so the trend filters. There are two available and they do exactly the same. This is just to filter out even more bad signals. So if you enable the first one, you don't have to enable any, both of them or one, you can do whatever you want. But the possibility is there to enable both of them. So the trend filter also kind of detects the trend and can trigger multiple buy signals after one another. So before we had this function, you always had to have a sell in order to have a new buy, and you always had to have a buy in order to have a new sell, which means they always had to alternate. But with this function enabled, you can actually, in an uptrend, you can have one buy that hits take profits, and then when the trend keeps going up, there can be another buy without a sell in between. So this means in an uptrend you can have multiple successful buy trades. So this is very nice. And 2 is the most light one actually, meaning that it will not do much. It will only filter a little bit, and the higher you go, the more aggressive the filter is applied, which means that you will have less trades on the chart in total. So if you enable both of them with a very high number, you will have very few trades, but maybe very successful ones. So then we have the power signal frequency here. This is a very important function, and there is some presets here like aggressive, conservative, and safe, or manual. So manual can be any number that you type here, and these three presets are predefined. So the same here, the lower the number, the more trades are allowed. So if I put it on 1, that means that there's a lot of trades that will be allowed because there's not much activity from that certain filter. So, but if you put it like very high, which means 300, 400, 500 up to 1,000, you will have very few trades. So there's not really any guidelines here because the sky is the limit. There's so many variables in order to use which can create any scenario basically. So you have to experiment what works best in this kind of situation. But in another video I will show you 2 strategies that I often use where you can see what is the best range of values for all these functions. Okay, so furthermore, we have in the signal mode here, we have long, shorts, and close on opposite signal. So this is to, if you only want longs, then you disable the shorts. If you only want shorts, you disable the longs. As easy as that. And then close on opposite signal means that if you're in a long and there is a short triggered, you want to close that long. If not, you don't check this box. But then again, if you use Cornix, Cornix always closes the trade when an opposite direction is opened. So I think it's better to check this, to put this on, because it gives a more realistic scenario of the trades later when you use Cornix, for example. Okay, and then here we have the break-even settings. So this trailing stop loss, if you want to move the stop loss to break even after TP1, TP2 or whatever is hit, this can save you many losses. For example, in a 3 take profit strategy and you want to move to break even when it's hit take profit 2, that can save you many stop losses. So it's actually a good function to enable this, but again, depends on your strategy. And then here you have the take profits. So you can use up to 4 take profits. And this is the percentages that you set. So for example, we set it at 1, 2, 3, and 4, just to show you, and then the stop loss is 5. So these are just example settings, but it basically means that the first take profit is at 1% of the entry, the second take profit 2%, 3, 4%, and the stop loss is at 5. That's all. And you can choose to use it in percentage or in pips if you trade Forex. And then also here you have the pip value. And then here you have the percentage offset to the entry price. So for example, where the entry price can be 0.5% more or less from the price generated from the charts, you can put that here. So for example, the indicator triggers that you have to buy at $1, but you put this offset, that means that you can also buy at 0.5% more or less than $1. If we look at the backtester for the lifetime members, this is basically all the same functions. The only difference here is that you have this 4 boxes here, which is a percent of the trade. So you can here set a percentage for every take profit. So you can keep it equal, for example like this, or you can fill in any numbers here. This is for testing strategies where you, for example, take most profit in the highest take profit, or you take it in the first one to test out and see if that gives more profit or not. That's why you have it in the backtester and not in the indicator. Then in the backtester also the properties tab is quite important, but it is default set at 10,000, which is the initial capital. And then the base currency is also, it's just visual, you know, so it doesn't matter. But you can choose if you want to see it in US dollars or in euros. And then also you can say that order size is 100% of the equity, which means 100% of 10,000, or you choose less. And then also the commission fees. So for example, for Binance, I think it's 0.1, so you could change it to 0.1 commission. Please check that first, because I'm just saying it out of my head. And then here, the backtester will take in account the commission fees and also reduce that. So about this order size, I would advise to not go too low. Even if you trade only with $100, I would not change this to $100 for backtesting, because some coin pairs, they actually have a minimum order amount. Yeah, minimum contracts, futures contracts, let's say. So if you take it too few, this one, the initial capital, so let's say I change this to 100, and then I say I take 2% of that equity, then your backtesting might give results that are not reliable, because the order size and the position size is not enough. So even if you trade only with $100, I would just keep this at 10,000, just to have the indicator working well and the backtesting to be reliable. There is also a light version. This is basically a stripped down version of the main script, and I will also add that the same way I did the main script, which means indicators here, then I put them in favorites, and the name is AltAlgo Lite and AltAlgo Lite Backtester. So I will add both. If we check the settings here, we will see that it's more simplified, and there are some things missing compared to the main one. So for example, the multi-moving average settings are not there, and there's only one trend filter here. The power signal frequency is of course still there. Then you have the same long, short, or close on opposite signal. You have the break even, and then you have the money management, which is also similar, except there's no pips. Basically, it's the moving averages that are not there, and only one trend filter instead of two. So if you use this, you can also get good configurations. This is not any less, it's just different that it simplified things, and it's better to maybe get to know this first before you go to the main script. It's completely up to you. So if we use this one, we can just disable or enable the same trend filter. You can put basically any value in here. Power signal frequency, same presets here or manual, and the rest is the same that I explained before. Also, if we see the backtester, the light one, we can see that same configuration here, which means one trend filter, one power signal frequency here, same here, break even, and then the percentages with the take profits. So basically a stripped down version, which is maybe more comfortable to get to know first before going to the main one. Okay, so that's it. Thanks guys. See you in the next one.